Shalom. Aloha. I'm going to begin shuffling while we wait for people to tune in to the live activation that is about to go down. So we are beginning a new decade, everybody. This is exciting. So this is the first full moon of this decade. This is the first full moon activation of this year, of this decade. And it's a full moon eclipse in Cancer. And while we're waiting for people to tune in and I'm shuffling, I'll also say tonight is Shabbat. And so a Torah portion will be read. And the story from the Torah that is read tonight is a very special one. It's the only one out of the entire Torah that's considered a closed parsha or portion. And it's when all of Israel closes their eyes. It's Yaakov's death. It's the ending of the chapter of the patriarchs. It's the final chapter of the book of Genesis, the book of creation. And at the end of this chapter, Yaakov, Jacob, gives his blessings to each of his sons, who represent the 12 tribes of Israel. And within those blessings are the hidden revelations of the prophecies to come. So this is a super powerful time. It's also this full moon eclipse. Do you feel that? Can you feel how powerful that is? Super powerful energy. So I'm excited to do this. Aloha to everybody. Shalom to everybody. So now that you're here, there's nowhere else. You've always been here now. But in this moment, here we are all together, creating this portal, this channel. Take a couple deep breaths. Go ahead and turn to face yourself, your own thoughts. What are your patterns of thinking today, this week? What have you been holding on to in your mind, even in your body, physically? What feelings, what emotions have you been holding on to? Just recognize those patterns of cyclical thinking and feeling. And just ask that those thoughts and those feelings step aside for a moment. Ask them to just take a seat just for this moment. And you can tell them, don't worry, I'll pick you right back up again when I'm done, or not. Because this just may shift you. This activation may shift what you've been thinking and what you've been feeling. But for this moment, at least, put it down. Because I need you to be here wholly, fully now. And when you're ready, go ahead and meet me in that place, outside of time and space, at the center of the one heart. So this is a full moon activation, so it's all about revealing this point in this lunar cycle, this monthly cycle, that is collective but also individual, because as with one, so with all. It's the part in this cycle where we reflect on the whole picture. The fullest light of the moon is reflecting that something's happening in nature, which is inside of us too. There's a full, not only full moon, a full revelation. Some picture, a theme of this month is fully coming to the light now. And from now until next week, the final quarter moon, we'll be processing what it is we're about to see in wholeness. We'll be integrating that. But first we have to acknowledge it. First we have to see the whole picture to be able to integrate it. So let's dig in, let's ask to be shown details about what we've been going through this month. But the ones that really matter. Let's go to the heart of the matter. Let's go to the heart of the situation. Let's find out what archetypal energies have been the driving forces behind everything we've been experiencing this lunar cycle so far. Are you there? Here? Now? It's so good to see you guys. Thanking the archetypes in advance for the information that is going to come forth right here, right now. Here we go. What has the challenge of this month in total really been? What has it all been for? What is this bridge that upon integration we're going to be able to have access to cross into the future? What is the current fear that we're working to transform into the ally? What is a new element that we're going to move into after we do this integration? Just like this parsha of the Torah tonight, you know, going through this ending. What is it all for? What's the prophecy of the future? Okay, so the challenge that's now becoming the bridge to the future. This is the Five of Pentacles, and it's all about moving ahead with hope and with faith, trusting everything's going to be all right despite the amount of stress, strife, pain, suffering that we've experienced thus far. We have been so challenged to hold on to our faith, to keep that hope alive, unwavering hope, in the face of all the challenges we've been experiencing, all the pain we've been experiencing, all the struggles. We've been challenged to show our strength, not when it's easy, not just when it's easy, but when it's most difficult. As a collective, we've been really strengthening this aspect. We've been cultivating this specific strength to say, I'm not only going to show my hopeful heart, embody that hopefulness when it's easy, but in the face of struggle, that's when I'm going to hold on to that hope. And it gets easier and easier. And I see this as a rite of passage. I see this as being the bridge into the future. I see that everything that we've experienced up until now that has helped us to cultivate this unwavering hope as we move through even the darkest of days is going to pay off. It's because we know that it always will, that it does. In the knowing is the sowing. Of course it's coming. The thing that has been keeping us going. You know, your intentions, your aspirations, your hopes, your dreams, those are the things that keep you going. That vision for that thing that you want to get, that thing that you're striving for, becomes the reason for your perseverance. So that thing, whatever it is we're trying to achieve, it's going to be ours. It's going to be yours. So the challenge, again, has been, the most important challenge has been the cultivation of our perseverance and the maintenance of our unwavering hope. Just fortifying that, the ability to hold on to that hope in our hearts. This has been the highlight, the most important thing. I feel that this is showing us that, of course, we're always going through many different challenges. But this one right now is being highlighted for a reason. It's saying if there's anything that we should be working on right now, it's this. If you haven't been doing this, catch up. Catch up. Because the more work you do in this, the greater the reward will be. And it's coming up very soon. So when you're in your darkest of days, when you're struggling, when you feel hurt or defeated, how do you keep that hope alive? Because remember, when you're feeling the worst, and you're just ready to give up, that's really when the gift is right around the corner. It's about that moment, that pinnacle where we're given the opportunity to really show what we've got, to really actualize the wisdom that we've learned around this need to keep the hope alive in the darkest of times. It's one thing to know, like, yeah, of course, we got to keep that hope alive, not just when it's easy, but when it's dark, when we're struggling. That's when we really got to, keep that flame lit. It's one thing to know that, but it's another thing to do that. When you're really struggling, to remember that hope, to keep going. We can make miracles happen when we do this. It's like a breaking point where we can break through or break apart, break down. Do you want to break through or do you want to break down? Of course, you want to break through. Well, the challenge is needed for the chariot. Without a challenge, there's no ascension. There's nothing to transcend. That's why we're here. Everything's already perfect in another dimension, in an alternate reality, in a spiritual realm. But we're here right now, in this realm, on this plane, on this planet. What's the need for transcendence if there's nothing to transcend? We are given the challenges, the pain, the struggles, because we know it's temporary anyway. And we know that any pain is temporary anyway. These bodies temporary anyway. So our higher self is going, yeah, of course it's all worth it. I signed up for this. Of course I signed up for this. Because I know that the pain is temporary. I know the suffering is temporary. But the potential for what I can extract from that challenge, the cultivation of the gifts that are within that challenge, is really why I'm here. And those gifts are everlasting. Those gifts are eternal. Those gifts are not impermanent like the pain and the suffering. And if you feel like, I don't know how to do that. I'm really struggling. Reach out. Look to somebody in your life who has exhibited that, who has shown you that they are an example of being a strong pillar, not only for themselves, but for others. Look to those people for inspiration. Maybe you don't even know them. Maybe it's somebody who passed away. Maybe like a famous person in history who has proved to be that kind of a pillar. Pull the inspiration from that. They are a part of you, the universal mind. You can access that. You can tap into that. But of course, the more personal the relationship, the more of an emotional tie you have to this said inspirational being, the stronger the connection, because you can really feel it. And the feeling is what helps you travel to that place in time and space where you can pull in that information, where you could embody whatever it is you're wanting to embody. So think about the people in your life that you know and love. Start there. Is there someone that you can look to kind of be a role model for how to behave that way, for how to be a pillar? And if you are one of those people who feels like you are that pillar, how can you be there as a reflection for those who haven't quite gotten there yet? Or there's also this, if you feel that you don't have any current struggles, bless, if you feel like I'm in a really good place right now and my cup is overflowing, then that's also another reason to be there and show up for people who are not able to be that pillar for themselves or for the world right now. So how can you be that strength, that space holder for someone who is going through a struggle and it seems that they are not able to keep that hope alive in their hearts? So however we can face this archetypal energy right now, it doesn't matter what part of the spectrum you're on. If you're super struggling right now, or you're super feeling blessed right now and successful and prosperous, or maybe you're struggling but you're feeling hopeful through it. Wherever you're at, recognize that this archetypal energy is showing up in all of life, in all of creation right now. And if we can extract it, if we can see through the physicality of reality and into the energy behind it, we will find this energy present everywhere. How can you connect to it in your own unique way? How can you cultivate more of this archetypal energy in the light, which, easily put, is just keeping hope alive through the struggle? Maintaining hope, trust, faith that everything's going to be okay. Just keep going. Literally, like I said, miracles happen from this state of mind, from this state of being. So the point is this: wherever you are at right now with this, wherever you are at on your path, there is a way for you to show up in this world for yourself or for someone else who's only a reflection of you, who's certainly, absolutely 100% connected to you and to all of us. We're all connected. So how can you, in knowing this, help to cultivate more hope in the world? In this world that is so full of challenges and struggling, pain, strife. There are so many people super stressed out right now with the global condition. You can find stress anywhere you look. And often that's just looking right inside of ourselves, looking in a mirror. There's some sort of stress or anxiety we have that we can immediately begin to consider this energy of keeping hope alive. Look within, look in the mirror and say, oh, this is where I'm experiencing anxiety. This is where I'm experiencing a lack of hope. And then work on cultivating that hope. Tell yourself, no, I have to trust, because it's in those moments of hopelessness where the most opportunity is to build the most hope. The opposite always lies hidden within. So look to yourself or look to somebody else who really needs that inspiration. Like I said, whether you're doing it for yourself or you're doing it for someone else, there's always an opportunity to help someone relight that flame, to find their way back to hopefulness. I really feel this is so for the collective right now. Like it's such a trying time that we're in right now, global crisis. And it's important that we remind each other not to lose our faith. The hidden fear, which then becomes the ally. And that was like a perfect segue into this. This is the 6 of Cups. And this is all about, so Cups is the heart and emotions. This is about giving and receiving from a place of purity, giving and receiving from an authentic heart space, a heartful exchange. So this is directly related to what we were just explaining about keeping hope alive. It's so important that we treat each other with this kindness and with this innocence from like a childlike place in such a vulnerable time as we are in right now, globally. So our fear, the fearful side of this before we transform it into the ally, could look like this. I fear that I'm exchanging energy with the wrong people. I fear that the people I'm exchanging energy with, the people that I'm giving my heart to, or the people that I'm receiving energy from, are taking me down a hopeless road. That this path is not going to lead me to peace. That there's only going to be more arguing, more suffering, more manipulation. These are all like the fearful aspects of this card. This is what it would feel like. This is what it would look like to be experiencing this energy on the fearful side of it. And then transforming it, performing the alchemy to make this fear into our ally would look like this. And it's always more simple than you make it. It has to be. In fact, it has to be simple, because the more complex we make it, the more opportunities there are for our minds to stray and connect those complexities of our thoughts to other things, because we have these associative minds where the more we feed it, the more it expands, the more connections it makes subconsciously. So we don't want to overcomplicate. That's why this process is always so much more simple than we think. Simple but profound. So again, performing the alchemy would look like this. I am being placed, by law, divine order, I am being placed in those situations, around those people that are for my highest good, for our highest good as one. I speak, I move, I communicate from my heart. I also receive through my heart. I am only put in those situations where the one can thrive. And this is the interesting thing. They say like when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? That's really how this is working. It's a mentality thing. It's a psychological thing, okay? So for example, if you fill yourself with the antidote every day, and you only fill yourself with those positive thoughts, not the negative side like we first spoke about, not worrying about being manipulated or not coming from the right place, but if you only focus on that mantra that I'm always put in those situations around those people that are for the highest good. I always communicate from my heart. I receive and exchange from my heart. The heart is the channel. When you fill yourself with that, then what happens is you develop such a deep trust and receptivity to divine order that even if you are put in those situations around people that would typically be manipulative, you're geared away from it. You're protected. Because whatever does not vibrate with that frequency that you are upholding, that you are maintaining, it can't exist within that field. So you may find yourself in the very same situations at first, but watch how they transform. Simply because you are filling yourself with the neutralizing thought of what it was you've been thinking all along. So pay attention closely. Because shifting the way you think about this changes your entire reality. Fill yourself with the knowing that I only am put in those situations and around those people that are for the highest good. Because many things will start to happen all at once if you fill yourself with that. Many things will happen as a byproduct of filling yourself with that. But I'm saying you can't just say this once and expect it to work, okay? First of all, you have to believe. Maybe if you believe hard enough, it would only take one time. But in today's world, it's just not likely because we're constantly being bombarded with contradictory information. So repeat as often as you must until you believe. And I'm saying first thing when you wake up, before you even open your eyes, before you move. And when you're going to sleep and you're drifting off. And when you're in those meditative spaces, mind states throughout the day, insert this message. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And what could be bad about that, right? I'm certain this is a far more pleasurable thought to have than a lot of the ones that many of us have. So what could it hurt to just say as often as possible to yourself, I'm always right where I need to be. I'm always exchanging energy with those people that I'm meant to exchange energy with for the highest good of the one. Remember this, nothing exists out of divine order. Everything is unfolding perfectly as it should. And consciousness is an intelligent design. It's self-sustaining. So of course, you're not going to be put in harm's way, even when you feel like you are in danger. Even when you feel like you're in danger, you are in the hands of the Creator. You are in the hands of the Creator. And the more you know that and the more you trust that, the less you will have to be put in dangerous situations to remind you of that. You won't need to go through so much of the strife, the suffering, just to be reminded of the thing that you can know right here and right now, that you are protected, that you are held. 6 of Cups. So we had a 5, we had a 6, and now we're moving into the future. A 3. Major Arcana. She is the 3rd card of the Major Arcanum, the Empress. And this is all about action. And I feel that this is so related to both of those cards, of course, that we pulled. But what I had said specifically about this card, trust that that thing that's been keeping our hope alive, that vision of hope, just like that church window is alit, that tree of light of life is lit up right there, representing the hope. Whatever that is, that hope, that light of hope for us, it's going to be made manifest on this material plane. All this hard work we've been doing and showing ourselves that, yeah, I'm not only going to maintain this hopefulness when it's easy, but I'm especially going to maintain it in the face of strife. It's all going to pay out. It's all going to be worth it. The reward is coming, guys. The reward is coming. And the thing about the Empress is this. She comes right after the 2, the High Priestess. The High Priestess is all about the subconscious, getting to know your inner world, getting clear on that, getting clear on your emotions, what you're feeling inside, so that when you manifest the world on the outside, not only is it a clear reflection of what's inside, it's always going to be because that's the law, but you know it, you see the clarity in it. You can own it fully because you are so clear on the inside that you know for certain why things on the outside are manifesting as they are. That's the story of the 2 to the 3, the High Priestess to the Empress. So really it's about how in touch with your inner realm are you? What is your definition of a clear manifestation of that? What is your definition of beautiful, of real beauty? That's what you're going to see manifested all around you. So, if you are acing this challenge, which becomes the bridge to the future, because the challenge becomes a gift. If you're acing this, if you've been really working on keeping your hope alive in the hardest of times, not just when it's easy, but always, when it's easy, and especially in the hardest of times, because that's where the alchemy happens. The more work you do with this, the more beauty you're going to see manifested around you. The more gifts you will receive from that challenge. Every time you ace this challenge, you cultivate more and more of that gift to come. And that's what she's representing. The beauty, the love, the joy. The gift of perseverance. The gift that is guaranteed when you persevere, holding on to your faith and nothing else. So, I feel called to pull one more. What is the best archetypal expression to embody right now for the efficiency and highest good of the one? And keep in mind, this is going to apply to this coming week, which is all about integrating this picture and closing up the cycle so that we can make space for the next one. So what is that expression right now that we can begin to embody to start us off on the process of integration and moving through the last leg of this cycle? And it's a 10. And I love that because I kept saying ending and new beginning, closing up this chapter, beginning the next one. And this is a 10. 10s are endings and new beginnings. Well, 9s are endings. 10s are endings and new beginnings. And it's swords, so it's the mind, which then obviously reflects into every other dimension, so emotional, physical as well. But it's about ending a program once and for all, ending a thought program once and for all, ending an illusory idea that could have potentially been causing a lot of suffering once and for all. So as we move through this, let's look at the other cards we pulled so we can come back to this one with more of an understanding. As we move through the final parts of this challenge, keeping our faith and hope alive in times of stress and struggle, as we move through that, we really get somewhere. We push until we finally get there, wherever there is, that final destination, and then begin again, right? But we push, and we stay faithful to our mission, to our dream. And then we get there, we manifest it. Trusting that we're always protected, always guided to those situations and to those people who will help us sink more deeply into our heart and communicate from there, act and receive from there. So that we can end this need to suffer once and for all. I'm not talking about for the rest of our lives. I'm talking about right here, right now, for this cycle. We're ending a cycle right now. We're going to come to this gift that is so deserved from all of our perseverance. We're going to come to that gift And we're going to feel like a weight has been lifted. We're going to feel clarity of mind. We're going to feel like, oh God, okay, I can finally breathe. I've been pushing and pushing. I keep seeing this image of like a person, a being, trudging forward, strapped to chains with a heavy weight, some kind of heavy weight, just pushing and pushing and pushing. I mean, you can move mountains, right, with your faith. So what's a little bit of metal? What's a little bit of weight? But I see this being just so focused, so full of strength because of this hope alive in them and pushing forward. And eventually, let's say there was like a piece of gold that person was trying to reach. And once they get to that gold, they can put down the weight, right? That's what I see it like. Whatever you want that gold to represent, think of that. That's up to you. But I see this being pushing and pushing and pushing until they get to that gold. And then, it's a huge release. And that's what this is going to be like. Like, oh, wow, okay. Finally, I can let that go. I can have some space in my mind to create the new, the next, which is coming. So from tonight until next week, it's integration time, you guys. We have seen the whole picture now. It's time to let it really sink in. Rest, allow all this information to be integrated for the highest good. However, we can meditate on it, do that. Meditate on it, see how the information that you've been shown this cycle can be integrated into your life in a way that gives you practical tools to move forward. Really let it sink in and think about how you can apply this to your life. And so the picture, in summary, that we are going to be integrating is, we've been struggling, but we've been tested to see if we can keep our hope alive in the hardest of times. Now the gift is coming. Now the gift is coming. Just remember to fill yourself with the mantra of the ally, which is, I give and receive from my heart wherever I go. I'm always put in those situations and around those people who are for the highest good of the one, the unfolding of that highest good. So it doesn't matter about your judgments upon these people or places, or what your judgments have been about them up until now. It really doesn't matter. What matters is your heart and how you use it as a filter. When you pull that energy up and through it, through your heart and out of your mouth, the words that you speak, your offering of energy, your expression, filtered through the heart. And also how you receive through the filter of the heart. If you work on that, strengthening that, nothing else matters. So this is what we're focusing on now for the next week to come. I will see you guys in a week for the final quarter activation. And I'm so excited. February is coming and it's my favorite month of the year. Just because it's weird, it's short. There's Valentine's Day, so the collective energy is always really sweet. And I'm so looking forward to Shabbat tonight. Shabbat Shalom. Maybe I'll light the candles live, so tune in if you're interested in seeing that and hearing the blessing for the candle lighting. And just for those of you who don't know what Shabbat is, it's the Sabbath. It's the resting day after God created the world, the days of creation. It's Friday night sundown till it's Saturday night sundown, and it's a ritual to celebrate the unification of the worlds within and without, the masculine and the feminine, the great mother and great father coming together, turning to face each other and uniting, merging. So that's what this ritual is, and it's for anyone who wishes to participate. The chosen people are those who choose themselves, because there's only one, and so if you choose yourself, you're chosen. Congratulations. So if you wish to celebrate Shabbat, please reach out to me, ask any questions. I'm here to help you initiate your ritual. Thank you. Shalom.